An F4 twister takes a couple by surprise.
The instinct was to help save us.
Can one man find the strength to save his wife's life?
Don't let me go.
Plus, lightning.
Lightning is actually the second largest killer of people.
See the awesome power of lightning. Watch Storm Stories on the Weather Channel. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern and Pacific.
All this month, choose from a collection of 5 horror classics on demand.
Now it begins.
It begins the instant you order. Ghoulishly gruesome, fiendishly fierce, and soon you'll be screaming for more. Make your night Fright Night when you choose your favorites from the Horror Classic Collection. All this month on Comcast Digital Cable. And this month, order any on-demand movie, then go to cablemoviesondemand.com for your chance to win a trip to New Orleans.
I'll never forget hearing the news that all 3 anthrax letters had passed through our postal facility here in Hamilton.
State officials did nothing but tell postal workers to call their doctor.
I was stunned. You can't tell 1,000 people on a Friday evening that they've been exposed to anthrax and then expect them to wait until they can get a hold of their doctor.
Mayor Glenn Gilmore immediately ordered enough Cipro to treat every postal worker. The New York Times called him a national hero. We have a mayor we can be proud of.
The first storm we're watching is a tropical storm. Yes, Tropical Storm Nicholas, still churning up a frothy wake over the Atlantic Ocean with maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour. This is Storm Watch. I'm Dave Schwartz. Good to see you. Coming up next here on the Weather Channel, your forecast for the United States here for landlubbers the beginning of the weekend. But let's have a look at this tropical storm. It's been sitting out here for a while. The satellite image shows that it's still hanging on. Boy, oh boy, still some wind shear on the west side of it, which is inhibiting the intensity, the intensification of the system. So it's pretty much status quo right now. You'll notice the upper level winds fanning out to the northeast, and it's these winds coming in from that direction. They are these winds coming in from this direction that are limiting the intensity of the system. If the winds were lighter, we'd probably have a hurricane. The question now is, where is it going? Is it going to be affecting anyone? You, me, any folks out here in the Caribbean? We think not. We think it won't. Notice the direction. It's been moving west-northwest and now taking a jog toward the north-northwest at 6 miles per hour. And I'll tell you, the further north these things get, typically, the less chance of them making landfall here in the United States. This time of year, when the westerly winds, the storms moving west to east, get further south, any tropical system that gets up here usually gets drawn into a system moving west to east, and then bang, over the colder waters, may bring some wind and rain to Portugal. Any tropical system this far east that's going to affect us has to stay pretty far south, away from the westerly winds, and can make its way perhaps into the Caribbean and then the Gulf of Mexico. That does not appear to be the future of this one. Let's take a look at the rest of the tropical Atlantic. Typically, in the Caribbean, that's where we see tropical development, if it's going to happen. A cluster around here. Do we see anything happening now? Well, I see a twist. This is not at the surface, though. This is a mid-level disturbance. And I see some showers off of Belize. Perhaps some tropical development here on the west side of Mexico, but there's nothing really happening right now. A couple of possibles, but certainly nothing imminent. So if you've got plans to head to the Gulf Coast, to the Caribbean this weekend, to the east coast of the United States, no pressing tropical disturbances or storms. A disturbance across Georgia, drawing some drier air in across the Gulf of Mexico. That certainly will limit tropical development. And look at this fine weather from Acapulco all the way northward into the Gulf of California, Baja California, Cabo San Lucas. It looks great. And all the way out to Hawaii, just some high, thin clouds over top of those beautiful puffy clouds. That, my friend, is your tropical update. Here in the United States on Saturday, we are looking for more cool weather. We'll start off foggy and drizzly in parts of the Northeast, but in the Midwest, a heat wave. More details coming up next.
It's easy to access weather.com.
Getting soaked. Is that line of thunderstorms expected to produce anything tropical?
The good news is if you're heading to the Bahamas on that dream vacation, you don't have to worry. It's going to push off to the northeast very quickly, and that's good news. Now, let me show you the large-scale picture. We do have a tropical storm out there in the Atlantic. That's Tropical Storm Nicholas. That's right there, but it's also well to the east of the islands, the Windward and Leeward Islands out here. Here's a shower band that's moving toward the Bahamas, and it's going to sweep to the northeast. Another little shower band just in the northwestern Caribbean. And here's our tropical storm, still under some significant shear, and that shear is from the southwest at about 40 miles per hour, so it's struggling. You may also notice this other low-pressure system right here. It's moving right into it. Those two are going to merge into a larger, probably weaker system as that shear persists. So the bottom line there is that's not going to be a problem for land. Now here's the frontal boundary. This is actually a front with a little low-pressure center on the north edge of it. That's going to push through the Bahamas fairly quickly. The winds aloft here about 50 to 80 miles per hour. No chance for any tropical development from that. So it's just going to be a brief shower area that's moving through. The southern branch of it's going to linger a little bit longer than the northern one because the winds are stronger up here than they are to the south. Gulf of Mexico, free and clear of anything, and if you're going to Cancun or Cozumel, there's a little shower area right in here. Rather stationary right now. It'll probably dwindle in the afternoon. You'll have some fair weather there. The upper winds are not favorable for development right now. They're also moving at about 20 to 30 miles per hour from the west and about 50 from the west up here near Cancun and Cozumel. The remainder of the Caribbean, we have great weather there, so all of your travel destinations, good news there. Cabo San Lucas, clear. Most of the Mexican Riviera is clear, except we have one low pressure system way down here, just to the southwest of the country of Guatemala. We'll continue to monitor that for possible development. Bob, Hillary?
Thanks, Dr. Lyons. Well, we have coming up on this Week in Outlook, we're tracking storms across the country. We'll take you coast to coast and let you know where the rough weather is.
And later on Weekend Planner, heavy wind, rain, and storms hit parts of the Pacific Northwest. If you're planning a trip out that way, you won't want to miss our extended forecast.
We're back after this.
There's more from the Weather Channel at weather.com. More travel updates. More golf features. More forecasts. At work or whenever you're on the web. Get more at weather.com or AOL keyword weather.
The Weather Channel is brought to you by this cable or satellite provider. You can also get reliable forecasts from the Weather Channel through this radio station.
Workplace changes. Styles come and go. Dickies workwear stays true to its roots. Then, now, and far into the future. Dickies, a legend in work.
Dickies, a legend in work.
Sometimes it's not the power you have, it's the power you have to spare. That's something inside. That burst of speed, that jolt of energy, that gives you the edge. It's turbocharged, all-wheel drive, Subaru Forester. Subaru, driven by what's inside.
Visit your local Subaru dealer for financing as low as 0% APR on every Forester.
Subaru, driven by what's inside.
It's time to pick favorites at Red Lobster. Choose freshly breaded shrimp, delicious shrimp scampi, or one of our bold new tastes. Mix and match any 2 dozen for $9.99. 2 dozen shrimp, just $9.99. Now at Red Lobster.
Share the love.
Oh, what a shot! Who are you? I'm with the Sons Without Dads organization. Who are you? I'm his dad.
Spending too much time on home improvement projects? Come into Ace, the helpful place.
Heartburn?
Yeah. I tried Pepsid AC, but it takes like 40 minutes to start working.
Tum starts neutralizing acid fast. I'm taking Prilosec OTC. Read the label. That can take 1 to 4 days to fully kick in.
Delayed release tablet.
Delayed release. Should say delayed relief.
Air skies.
Well, it's 50 after the hour, and that means it's time for our tropical update.
And for our tropical update, we're going to start with Tropical Storm Nicholas.
Okay.
It's hard to believe that so late in the season, we're still seeing a very active tropical pattern. Now, Tropical Storm Nicholas, right over there between the Cape Verde Islands and also Puerto Rico. A closer look shows a strong southwesterly breeze shearing off the top of it, or blowing the top off Nicholas, creating very unfavorable conditions for development. Even so, we're still seeing winds up to 65 miles per hour on Nicholas. It's moving north-northeast around 3 miles per hour. The good news about Nicholas is it's 915 miles east of the Leeward Islands, and as we take a look at that swath through Tuesday, it's really moving nowhere. So it's going to be a while before we start to see it anywhere near land, and by that time it's going to be in cooler water, so we really expect minimal impact from this storm. There is a front moving right through the Keys and the Straits. We saw the flooding in the Keys earlier today. There is no tropical evidence along with this storm system. It's just tropical moisture right along a front. Things quiet in the Gulf, not until we get towards the Pacific. Is there another key to look at? Right over here, we've got a little bit of convection or thunderstorm activity that could start to spin up into something, but notice we really need 80-degree temperatures to start, well, to keep a hurricane going. We just don't have them in the Pacific. Even in the Atlantic, you have to get very, very far south of Florida to start to see those 80-degree temperatures. So we don't expect Nicholas to be a huge player in our weather anytime soon. Bob?
All right, let's see what's going on in terms of the storm watch. We do have a little bit of rain activity ahead for parts of the northeast with a northwesterly flow, and also around Seattle some wetness could occur, although the chance of wetness will increase tomorrow. You can see that flow getting into Seattle on top of a ridge. It's trying to go up and over, and also a northwesterly flow getting into the northeast. And that could even bring a little snow later to the Adirondacks and the Green and White Mountains, although that's not happening right now. You can see a little wet weather over Michigan and across the eastern Great Lakes with that northwesterly flow aloft, but certainly nothing severe in the way of storm action. And you can see some of that not even reaching the ground across Lake Erie. As far as Florida is concerned, a lot of the wetness associated with the front well out to sea. You can see our whole picture right there as we travel toward the northwest. There's that moisture skirting across the greater Seattle area right now. Expect this to increase in intensity as we go throughout the latter part of the weekend. Well, coming up later, we'll explain why it's warm in some parts of the country and cool in others.
And we do have cool temperatures today in Washington, D.C. with highs only in the 60s. We'll have more coming up.
There's more from the Weather Channel at weather.com. More travel updates. More golf features. More forecasts. At work or whenever you're on the web. Get more at weather.com or AOL keyword weather.
The Weather Channel is brought to you by this cable or satellite provider. You can also get reliable forecasts from the Weather Channel through this radio station.
It's the winning season for the Hyundai Sonata. Protected by America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Loaded with standard features like dual front side impact airbags. But the Sonata costs $2,100 less than a Toyota Camry LE when comparably equipped. And now get an extra $1,500 cash back. The Hyundai Sonata starting at just $14,539 after $1,500 cash back. You're the winner at the Hyundai Winning Season Clearance. Going on now at your Hyundai dealer.
See your local Hyundai dealer.
I offered you protection. You refused me. Well, look at you now.
Yeah, I know.
Boy, show him the trunk.
No! If you want protection, you want the Prestone family and the convenience of topping off with Prestone Quick Fill.
It's funny how top him off sounds like knock him off. Hey, not that funny.
Prestone Protection, inside and out.
Oh, come on, Nate. You're gonna be late. Okay.
Get out of bed! Get out of bed! Come on, shit! Get on your feet!
On Monday, we'll see fair skies. Look for rainy conditions on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, expect fair skies.
Good evening and welcome back to PM Edition. I'm meteorologist Cheryl Lemke. As we check the clock on the wall, it's now 10 minutes before the top of the hour, and that means it's time for your tropical update. And the good news, the tropical season is finally winding down. But I'll tell you what, this tropical season has been a very busy one for a lot of folks. As we check out the latest information, now typically on the average we have about 10 named storms during the tropical season, but this year we've had as many as 14 named storms. We've had 6 hurricanes too, and of those, 3 have turned out to be major hurricanes. So again, this year has been a very busy one in terms of tropical development. As we take a look at the latest satellite imagery, currently the main story that we're following is Tropical Storm Nicholas that continues to swirl up the open waters here across the Atlantic Basin. Here's the latest information that we have on Nicholas. Again, right now it's not directly affecting any land areas, so that's great news. And it's a long ways away from any land as well. It's over 915 miles to the east of the Leeward Islands. It has weakened somewhat compared to what it was earlier today. Now the top winds are down to 60 miles per hour, and it continues to slowly, ever so slowly, drift off towards the north. From our satellite perspective, we're still seeing some bright shades of oranges and reds, so some deep convection, but unfortunately it has been undergoing some wind shear. So what's going to be happening is because the upper level winds are not too terribly favorable, we do expect further weakening to be taking place. And again, the good news, this is a long ways away from any land mass, and we don't really foresee much change with that. Even a long-range projected path takes it more to the north and west over time, but it will still keep it a long ways away from the islands. So for those of you making travel plans, perhaps over across the Caribbean, I think you'll be fine for this upcoming week, as again, this tropical storm should stay well to the north and east of you. So again, not looking too bad right now across most of the islands. As we check out the weather elsewhere, the Gulf of Mexico, very, very quiet indeed. And as we head off the coastline of Mexico, we've been tracking a little area of low pressure right around the Gulf of Tehuantepec. We'll have to watch that region because there has been clusters of showers and thunderstorms. Right now, they're all very poorly organized, but this could very well be a breeding ground for tropical development, so we'll have to watch this area in the eastern Pacific. And lastly, we head over towards the western Pacific. We have an ominous mass of clouds right now. This is a tropical depression. It's to the east of the Philippines and some 400 miles or so south of Okinawa. We'll have to watch this area very closely because right now conditions do look favorable for further strengthening, and this could very well become a tropical storm before the weekend is over. That's a look at the weather throughout the tropics. Now let's head back to the lower 48 with Ebony.
And Cheryl, it's been a pretty quiet day over much of the nation. Not seeing much action. High pressure has been the dominant feature in our weather across the west, the Midwest, and even out across parts of the east. However, we have a system that's making its way a little bit further into the northeast, and that's helping to spark off a few rain showers. Most of the rain, however, staying on the light side, so that's definitely good news. But if you're heading out and about, be prepared for wet roadways heading out around the Buffalo area, Rochester down towards Dunkirk. In the west, it's been nice and dry, but around the Seattle area, pretty cloudy for you. And we are expecting to see a few rain showers moving in as we get into the late night hours. For now, though, any of the wet weather that you'll see will be mainly confined to parts of western New York, where we have the light to moderate rain showers coming in just off the lakes. Even some wet weather moving into Pennsylvania. Across the southeast, we've kept the sunshine around all day long, even pretty much the same throughout the Midwest. Just a few clouds streaming down across parts of eastern Michigan, but otherwise it's been a sunshine-filled day, and even across the western U.S. we've also seen lots of sunshine, at least further inland, but cloudy and then even turning wet as we get into the evening and overnight hours around Seattle. Where it's not been raining, the winds have been picking up quite a bit, so any plans on getting out and about, winds in general about 10 to 20 miles per hour, but we've seen some higher gusts, even up to 30 miles per hour in some places, and as a result, gale storm warnings remain in effect anywhere from the Strait of Juan de Fuca all the way down into Florence, Oregon. So not the best of times for mariners to be out and about. It looks like we are going to see conditions going downhill even as we wrap up the weekend on Sunday. As that front moves in, we're going to see the rain.
Well, there's much more to come in the second hour of PM Edition. We'll take a look ahead to the work week and beyond in your weekly planner.
Stay with us. We'll be right back after your local on the 8th.
These neighbors, the Smiths.